Okay, so we titled our presentation Facing Relationships. I'm Nalani. So we did the West Cook YMCA as well. And Jenny and I, we had kindergarten children. And Natalie had first and second, and Jessica and Jackie had middle school age kids. So the program consisted of different activities throughout the day. First, they would start off with homework time, and that's the time when we would get a chance to help the kids with their homework and just assist them in anything they needed if they needed help with homework. The program was usually open from 3:30 to 7 p.m., and that's the time when we would go in. It would give time for the parents to come and pick up their children after school. So they did different things like going to a Y box, which was, as you saw in the other group's pictures, they would just play games, try to get their energy out. They would also go to the gym and sometimes to the park. They would do different things like play with basketballs, jump rope, hula hoops, things like that, or just run around. They also, in their individual classrooms, they also had like their own curriculum, so they would do different crafts and different projects. For example, in Jenny and mine's class, we did jack-o'-lanterns for Halloween, and the kids really liked that. And they also were learning and doing a project of coloring to learn the different colors in the rainbow.
So in Living Buddha, Living Christ, we learned a lot about mindfulness. And so it's a skill that we acquire and integrate throughout our lives on a daily basis. It allows us to calm ourselves when we're distressed, so we actually can think about like how we can change our actions to make our lives like happier. It increases our awareness of what we are experiencing and allows us the space to decide how we want to act in our daily lives. So in Living Buddha, Living Christ, we learn how to meditate and reflect on everything that goes on in our lives, and it helps us with our self-growth because we can realize and understand how we act each day. Enhancing these abilities can lead to better outcomes in our relationships because if we know how we want other people to be treated or we know how we want to be treated, then we'll act like that. So we'll act better between our relationships with other people.
So through community-based learning, we learned that relationships are a major part of being mindful. So the relationships that we built with these children truly promoted mindfulness for them and even for us. Two major parts of being mindful are being positive and living in the present moment. So we learned that children are often more mindful than us. As children, they focus on the small, beautiful things, as the other group showed. But we, as adults, we normally worry about what's going on in our lives and all the stressing us out. So they displayed positivity and living in the present moment. By displaying positivity, it helps to live in the present moment. And even though these children do have struggles and they do have worries in their everyday life, we display positivity to them and we help them because as soon as we would walk in the door, their faces would light up, and it showed how happy we made them, the positivity we showed them, and the true bond that we made with them. And the YMCA and us as volunteers created a true positive environment which promoted living mindfully.
So my slide was how it helps the process of the after-school program help them. The after-school program was a loving, caring community, no matter what background they have. It plays a social role in the children's lives, and it gives them guidance and life skills. The family relationships in the YMCA is good because they have family nights at the Y, they would have activities where the kids and the parents could do crafts and stuff like that. Good family relationships usually result in good friendships, and good upbringings give back to the community. And in the school, it plays a more intellectual role. It gives them a bright future, and involvement in school helps them to be a well-rounded individual.
I'm Jackie.
Something that hinders the process of living mindfully is poverty. A lot of these families struggle with having ends meet, and that can cause stress, and they're worried about their family, and then it's just not good. Something else that hinders the process is that there's stress and chaos within the family, such as like a divorce, and then if parents are divorced, sometimes it's hard to have ends meet as well, and then that stresses them out, and they bring that stress home, and then the kids can see that, and it reflects on the children, and then the children are upset, and you can see that in them. And then the third and final thing that hinders the process is the neighborhood. And then if it's a low-income neighborhood, they don't have a lot of resources. There's violence. It could make the children vulnerable to that violence as well. And people in their family can also become involved in violence because of trying to get social status, and that can influence the children as well.
My community-based learning at the West Cook YMCA connected the relationships I created with the theme of community and compassion in Living Buddha, Living Christ, because I want to become a teacher, so it helped me a lot when I tutored the kids because I was around them. And you really, even though we weren't around the kids, I was only there once a week. I was there on Mondays, and even though I was there for only like 4 hours a day, like you really understand like how they're feeling, or you really get a close relationship with them even in that little 4-hour day. And so I've always wanted to change someone's life in a positive way, and I feel like I accomplished that while doing my experience at the Y. And the smiles on their faces every time I walked in, like it really like made my day every day, and it proves that they appreciated me being there. I definitely enjoyed their presence as well, and as I was leaving on my last day, they all hugged me goodbye, and it really just shows that relationships you don't always have to have a really long relationship with someone like for them to have an impact on your life. Not only did I learn a lot from them, but they learned from me as well, and I not only learned about their backgrounds or their families or their personalities, but I learned about myself, and I learned that I'm a people person and that I actually do want to become a teacher, and that really brought it out of me. And that I should be open-minded because you never know the situations that somebody goes through in order for them to, like, that's what changes their lives.
My community-based learning really influenced me because I grew up with an older brother, and he was always there to support me and show me compassion and support. So in a way, I did have like a lot of younger siblings in my classroom because, as Jess said, like their faces light up when you walk in the room, and it really meant a lot. And being there for these children really created that same type of bond. I was able to connect with them and show them support and compassion just as I've always been shown.
So overall, the experience for me reminded me how I really enjoy working with children. Even though I don't want to pursue a career in that, I used to volunteer at my church working with young children, and I actually recently stopped doing that. But volunteering at the YMCA helped me to be mindful of how much I enjoy working with children in my free time. Also, I learned a lot about compassion and community with the children because within themselves, in their classroom, they showed a lot of compassion to each other and love, and they showed how they were a community within themselves.
This experience for me really taught me that trust is an important part of opening up to people. I really thought that the kids of the Y were really good at opening up to people and like getting to know people. Like on the second day of my volunteering, they all already knew my name, so that was really nice. All of the children were very open and trusting of all the volunteers, and it taught me that that is how people need to be in order to make a good community.
Through my experience at the West Cook YMCA, I noticed that even though all the children were from different schools, when they came to the West Cook YMCA, they were able to show compassion through different ways, such as some kids would act kind and just like and loving by like listening to their friends and like taking the time to really understand what they're going through, or they would just play around and be really goofy with one another, and I thought that was very interesting.